Hey everyone, I'm Bill. I'm with Cali Moto TV. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the garage where I have a brand new 2020 Ducati Multistrada 1260 Enduro. Ducati North America contacted me a couple weeks ago and said, hey, do you want to take this thing for a couple weeks? And I said, absolutely. And so I've had it about a week now. I'm falling in love with the TFT display on this thing. And so I wanted to really do an in-depth view of the TFT display and the instrument cluster and what the bike has to offer through that TFT display. So we're going to go real deep into the instrument cluster and show you guys all of the different features about the brand new Multistrada. So let's dive into this thing and let's look at all the features that Ducati has to offer in the Multistrada line. All right guys, I'm going to show you guys real quick on a wider angle of the bars and the controllers to show you what buttons I'm going to be pushing to change the instrument display. I'm going to be setting the camera up real nice and close so you guys can see the display. But basically over here you've got your heated hand grips and you have your on and off switch and your power switch down here, and of course to start the bike. And then over on this side, these are the all of the controls that we're going to be using. These are for the menu controls. So you can see your modes, menu, enter, up and down. This is basically everything I'm going to be toggling from, okay? So when I say up, I'm going to be talking about up here, down, and then menu and everything. So let's go ahead and get the instrument cluster fired up. And like I said, the display in this thing is absolutely gorgeous. So right off the bat, you guys can kind of see that I've already got the instrument cluster on what I call night mode, or what Ducati calls night mode. I enjoy this mode better than I do in the high contrast mode personally. So I switched it over, but I'm going to show you guys how to change that. So real quick, just on the lower portion down here at the bottom, you guys are going to see that just on the main menu, this is where you're going to be able to scroll through your different settings as far as your range, your gas consumption, your tripometers. You do have 2 tripometers, average speeds, and you're also going to have your second tripometer, and then of course your air temperature, and it is connected to my phone currently through the Ducati Link app, so that's kind of nice. You can see up here that it's got the phone and it's already pinged into the phone. So so this is basically your scroll through on the menus, okay? Now, when the bike is running, if you push and hold the down, that's going to give you your selection for your rider mode, which is going to give you your rider height, okay? Now, I misspoke a little bit earlier, and I didn't quite get through the instrument display on my own to see that this really doesn't have anything to do with the actual suspension. This is more of the ride height. So we'll get into the suspension setting, but let's just say we're a single rider, and then I'm going to go enter, and then this changes down below. You can see that we're a single rider. But if I would have changed that to a dual rider with bags, boink, 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 down, 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 and enter, you can hear it's buzzing up in the rear. And now we're at 2 riders and a bag, okay? So that's pushing and holding down. Now, if we push and hold mode or menu and push and hold it, this is gonna give our basic settings unchangeable while we're riding modes for different riding styles. So of course, we've got our sport mode, our touring mode, our urban mode, and our enduro mode. So these are all of the different modes that you can select from, okay? Now, so those are kind of your riding modes. That's while you're riding, that's what you're going to be able to change while you're riding. Now, while you're at a standstill, when you highlight this menu and you click the enter button, oh, the world opens up. So we've got our rider mode, our info mode, of course our pin code, I'll talk about the pin code in a second, lap timing, backlighting, clock, units, services, tire calibration, our load modes, Bluetooth, turn indicators, and info. And then of course our exit, enter, takes us back here. So let's go ahead and go back in and let's talk about, I'm gonna skip over rider mode because that's gonna take us the most time. So we're gonna come back to that. Our info mode. So our info mode is what you want to be able to see. So let's select track. and then go back and then exit. It's basically what you see on the instrument cluster as far as the dials and your tachometer. So remember this, and then let's go back into info, and let's go city mode. Okay, now when we exit, now you see the tachometer left. Okay, now menu again and info mode, and then let's go to enduro or off-road. Back and exit. And so now you see your tachometer shortened down. So you kind of it changes the appearance of what you see, what info you see on the cluster display. So it's very nice that you can change this. This is something that I've not seen too much before in the info mode. I've basically kept it just on full mode, okay? So that's your info mode. Now the pin code, I'm gonna skip this one, come back to this one, sorry guys, because this is a little lengthy, but and I wanna talk about the key. But your lap, and we've got lap data, so we can track our lap data if we are on a lap, if we're doing on any track. It's on right now, so now it's on, or off, so it's off right now. So that's your lap timing. Our backlighting, this is what I've been into. You can see I like the night view. I like the black background, and I like the fact that it's got the black contrast. Going into day, I don't like this view. The view is just, it blows out a lot. It's just, to me, it's just not my cup of tea. I'll show you when I go back to here to the front. I just don't like it. It just doesn't look, I like that black look. So that's our display mode. Now you can obviously go into your backlighting and you can go day or night or auto. And the auto will select and it will change. So right now we're inside, it's gonna be black. But if it was bright outside and we go out in the sun, it's gonna change, okay? So that's kind of cool. Now on the Tiger 1200, it doesn't give me a night mode. It only gives me a high contrast mode and an auto mode, which I wish it had the black mode. So Ducati, thank you. And of course, date and time. So we can change our time here and our dates. So pretty simple. And then back. Obviously, we can go to our units, so we can change our speed units to miles per hour or kilometers. So very nice, very friendly for multiple geographic areas. So miles per hour. So we'll go back, and temperatures, of course, Fahrenheit or Celsius. Down and back. And consumptions, do we want miles per gallon US or UK? Liters. So the different options, obviously we're going to stay with the miles per gallon in US. And those are our unit selections. So very nice, very useful if you do ship your bike back and forth throughout countries. You can kind of change that. Our services, obviously it's got our Desmo service is set to have its major service at 17,000 miles, and then our oil changes due at 8,100, and then of course our annual services. So these are all changed and set by the dealers, just FYI. And then back down here to our tire calibration. And then, of course, you can start your tire calibration. I'm not going to mess with the tire calibration just because I am not super familiar with it. But it has the tire calibration. Comment down below if you guys know what the tire calibration is. So, no. See, of course, I push enter. Aborted. All right. So, tire calibration. And then our load mode. Now our load mode, obviously we saw this earlier, so we can change this at any time. So if we want to change our load mode and go to single rider or single rider with bags, double rider or double rider with bags. So very nice. Again, now these are the height of the motorcycle. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to show you guys the difference about the suspension, because I misspoke earlier about thinking that that was preloads for suspension, but there's different ways to change suspension. Our Bluetooth, so we can obviously hook up our Bluetooth phone, associated devices. My Samsung phone's hooked up to it right now. But then you can just simply pair. Very, very easy to pair the device. So not too complex. So very easy. So thank you, because the BMW was not. So our turn indicators, so it has self-canceling turn indicators. They work all right. I would probably say they work about half the time. The Tiger tends to work a little bit better, but the BMW, the S1000's the auto blinkers was really, really good. So I enjoyed that. So, but we've got them on auto, but obviously you can turn them back to manual. So you just turn on and off the blinkers on your own. So, yeah. So we're going to leave it on auto. And of course, everything is selected over here. Remember, this is our selection. So back, which is enter, and then info. So this is just basically giving us what our running info is right now as far as our voltage and our RPMs. If the bike was on, it would give us our RPMs right there. So back and then down to exit, okay? Now, we're going to go into pin code and what the pin code is and modifying the pin code. And I really do want to tell you guys how impressed I was with this. And I'm going to zoom back real quick and show you guys. So I've got the key here. And one of the cool things with the key is if the battery dies, there's a little spot right here where you can set the key and it will recognize the key. But one of the things that was very, very cool about the pin code that I never knew is if you look under here, here's your ignition. So if you turn the ignition all the way off, and then you set this key out of the distance, so I'm not sure if that's far enough out, and you push and hold, it's not far enough. It gives you a pin code, and you can actually start the motorcycle without the key. Very impressive. I didn't know about that feature, so very nice. So if you do lose the key, turn this to your lock, hold it, your pin code comes up, and then you can customize that pin code. So back to the pin code, enter on menu, and down to pin code, and then you can modify the pin code. It's going to obviously ask you for your old pin code, your new pin code, and you'll go from there. So the key is very, very nice. Now, let me give you one quick rant, which I rant about the Tiger. This is very nice. I can put this in my pocket until I got to get gas. So BMW figured this out. BMW actually has a flip that within a certain period of time, if you flip this open, you can open up the gas cap with the key in your pocket without, with the ignition. You turn the ignition off and you can open the gas cap. This, I got to dig out the key and I got to open it. So it's kind of a pain in the butt. So I like the keyless. But both Triumph and Ducati, you got some work to do on this because we need that BMW gas cap. So so that's my rant about the key. Sorry, I know we're on the instrument cluster review, but all right. So back, and now the Mamma Jamma, and everybody's been waiting for this. Now this is crazy. When I got into this, the amount of changeability that I was able to change today blew my mind. Now, in sport, now we can change through each one of them. Now, I'm going to basically, it wants me to turn me back on. So let's get this thing turned back on real quick. Menu and riding modes. So we've got sport mode, touring mode, urban mode, enduro mode, all default. So let's go all default. Change everything default. Okay. So now when we go into sport mode, I think it's missing the key. I think the key is too far away. Sorry, guys. The startup's pretty beautiful. I'll tell you that. So, all right. So menu and riding mode and sport mode. And now we have in all of our different modes, we have engine performance, the throttle, the Ducati traction control, ABS, Ducati wheelie control, Ducati quick shifter, suspension, and load mode. And then of course we go back, okay? Now here is where the craziness and the fun starts. So in engine, enter. Now we can go in to high or medium or low, so you can see everything is kind of changing over here. So high, you have full throttle power, full power, and dynamic of the throttle. Okay, so it's very kind of sketchy, or not sketchy, but like, you know. So medium is going to be smooth but full power, and then low is going to be reduced power. Okay, of course in sport, I would have selected this to be in high. Okay, So let's go ahead and customize what I would like in my sport. Dynamic traction control. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8. So when we go 8, we are safe and stable. We're in the wet, full 8. It gives us by default number 4 over here. So we're kind of in the middle. Today I was riding in 3, I believe. So I was doing performance. So it gave me a little bit of extra lean and in road. And then of course, if we went all the way into the enduro, basically we would be down to 1 or off. So I'm going to select 3 for my selection on the traction control. Now ABS I'm just going to leave alone personally because it's road performance. I like it. Great. But if we want to change it to front ABS only, we can do that. Or if we want to do cornering ABS, which is very nice. So it's, there's a lot of changeability. But on the sport mode, we're going to keep it in number 2. Okay. The Ducati wheelie control. Number 2, I had it in number 1 today. I liked a little bit of wheelie personally. And we can get this all the way up to basically, it just won't even come off the ground. Basically, as soon as it comes off 1/4 of a millimeter, it kind of lays you back down. So I'm going to leave this down for my sport mode in 1. Okay. Now the quick shifter is on, up and down. Of course, we can turn it off. I'm not sure why we would, but it's going to be on, and we're going to keep it on. Okay. And our suspension, this is where the suspension gets fun. Now we can go in today when I was on the solo ride, I had it on harder for the, so I selected harder for the front and harder for the rear. And that was my suspension selection, okay? Now you can go hardest, which is all performance, or you can go softest. Okay, I'm gonna go harder for the sport because obviously I want, and if I was maybe more on track or maybe, I could have probably liked the hardest today, but So back, and then that's your front and rear, and then back. And then our load mode. Our load mode is going to be the height. What are we going to be as a default? I'm going to probably be solo rider, and then we can give it up our height difference. So if we want it really high, number 24, it's raising up my rear end right now. Okay. Or if I want to go really low, which would probably be better for the sport mode, get you lower center of gravity. Now we're lowering the bike. So the helmets are load mode, okay? So just so you guys know that. But for my sport mode, I'm gonna leave it right around 6 today. I don't know, let's go halfway. So let's go number 10, okay? So it's raising me up right now, all right? And then back, and then of course you've got your defaults, and then back. So let's change real quick. I'm just going to do one more. I'm going to go into touring and engine. So this is perfect. I like the medium. I like full power, but smooth. So that's nice. Okay. And then I'm going to set up my traction control. So I like road. It's nice and safe. Stability, right? It's not too performance driven. So it's going to basically intrude a little bit more, so to speak. So I like that. So let's go there. Our ABS is going to be on full road cornering. Perfect. Love it. I wouldn't change that. Dynamic wheelie control. We can turn that down maybe 1. But obviously if I've got Bogna on with the 2 up, I'm going to probably be in this urban mode. So I would probably go maybe 4. Okay. And our quick shifter obviously on, up and down. No questions. Our suspension for our front, I'm going to go softer. I want it a little softer for the touring on the front and the rear. I want it softer, okay? Actually, for touring, I'm going to go softest. And for urban, I would go softer. Okay, so it's really, this is something your guys are able to set up. So this is all you guys. Your load mode, this is basically going to be me and Bogna touring. I like this 20 perfect, bada bing, bada boom. I'm not going to change that. And then back to defaults. Okay, so of course now we've got Enduro, and Urban, so we can go in and change this, but I won't bore you guys with that settings. And then we're back to the main, and then we're back to the exit. And here we are back to our main menu. So I hope this was informational to you guys, because it can be intimidating to get into these instrument clusters. And now I will, my small gripe about the TFT display, it is smaller than like the BMW one. So it's about, I think it's a 5.5-inch screen. And they don't incorporate the blinkers, so blinkers and the gas light and the high beam light. So you can see up here our high beam, and then our cruise control, neutral, and then our ABS light, check engine light, traction control light, oil light. So all of these different lights are just basically that. They're just lights, where BMW has really incorporated everything into their TFT display. And I really hope that Ducati just basically spans this thing completely out all the way and makes it a 6.5-inch display. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Comment down below if there's something I missed. I don't see anything that I could have missed, but if there is something I missed, let me know. Comment down below. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Very important. If you want more content on the Multistrada, please make sure you ring that bell notification. And leave me a comment down below. But until next video, we'll see you guys out on the Multistrada. Ready for Red. Sacramento is this coming Tuesday. I've got some exciting news. I'm going to be doing some interviews with the CEO, Jason Chinook. So stay tuned to the channel. But thank you guys very much for the few minutes that we've been on this display. But I hope it really was helpful. So we'll see you guys next video. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.